I am live. Oh, it's not Halloween yet. Sorry. Uh, this is a little story about a plane manufacturing company. And see, the thing is, if you want to stimulate economies, you start new companies, new things in your area. So what this is about, this little, 13-minute, 11-minute, 5-minute video, it's about a new airplane company starting, I believe it's in Tanzania, which is kind of cool. And it's obviously the easiest way to get into aviation business is start with the smaller airplanes. That's pretty much a no-brainer. So let's see what they have to say.
What if Africa could manufacture its own planes, fly them across the continent, and cut down reliance on foreign aviation technology? Well, that future may already be here. Tanzania just launched its first locally made aircraft, the Skyleader 600. But what does this really mean for the country and the broader African aviation industry? The arrival of the Skyleader 600 at Julius Nyerere International Airport has set the stage for a fascinating shift. Produced by Airplanes Africa Limited, AAL, a Morogoro-based company, this is not just a local innovation, but an international triumph. With certification from global aviation authorities, these ultralight aircraft have officially begun operations. Tanzania is now the only African country manufacturing such planes, a feat that has surprised many in the global aviation community.
It actually is
Picture
a big deal.
A businessman needing to attend meetings across different cities in a single day. Instead of navigating unreliable commercial flights or long drives, he steps into his very own Skyleader 600, an ultralight two-seater aircraft perfectly tailored for swift, efficient travel. He flies for hours, attends multiple meetings, and is back home by evening. That's precisely the promise of the Skyleader 600. Designed specifically for long-distance business travel, these planes are far more affordable than traditional aviation options, run on petrol, and have impressively low maintenance costs. Owning one is said to be as economical as owning a car.
See, and what they're not talking about, actually, that comes into play big time here, I've done several shows on it, is they're trying to get an infrastructure throughout the continent of Africa from east to west, north to south, northeast to southwest, southeast to northwest. They're trying to get a rail and flight corridors with agreements with different countries, because I think there's like 52 countries in Africa, to where they can go through and unite African countries together through rail and plane access. That's why he said that you'd have problems with unreliable plane transport. And something like this actually is ahead of the curve of what they're trying to do in Africa right now. So for the businessmen and leaders that want to get ahead and stay ahead of all these innovations that are coming to Africa from all these different countries and investments they're getting to build all this new infrastructure, the people who have these airplanes here will actually be way ahead of all the others, and it'll probably be cheaper because it's made in Africa.
An extraordinary comparison that could redefine travel in Tanzania and Africa at large. What's equally interesting is how Tanzania became the first African nation to break into the ultralight aircraft manufacturing industry. AAL's director, Mr. David Grolig, credits the country's conducive investment environment and openness to adopting new technologies. This is not just a story about innovation, it's about opportunity, job creation, and skill development. Local youth are being trained, and some have even been sent to the Czech Republic for internships, fostering a global collaboration between Tanzanian and Czech professionals. This partnership between Tanzanian talent and Czech expertise has yielded...
I swear it's got to be an AI computer doing the narration, because it's Tanzania. He says Tanzania.
Impressive results, and the Skyleader 600 is now featured prominently at the Tanzania International Manufacturers Expo. Over 300 local and international companies are taking note of this revolutionary step forward. Tanzania's leap into aircraft manufacturing could be the start of something bigger, a move toward making Africa a self-reliant player in aviation. The Skyleader 600 represents more than just an ultralight plane. It symbolizes Africa's potential to innovate in industries long dominated by foreign companies. The aircraft's 6-hour non-stop flight capability hints at the future of air travel across the continent. What if more African countries follow Tanzania's lead, reducing their reliance on international suppliers? With lower costs, greater accessibility, and local jobs, the continent could see a boom in domestic aviation, especially for business travel, tourism, and even personal use. As the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Transport, Professor Godius Kayarara said Tanzania has positioned itself as a rising player in the aerospace industry. The question now is, will other African nations follow suit? The idea of seeing more African countries take ownership of their aviation sectors, develop their manufacturing capabilities, and cut dependency on external technology is an intriguing possibility. But beyond that, the Skyleader 600 could inspire new kinds of regional partnerships. Imagine African countries not just importing planes, but exporting them. Could this be the start
Jetsons,
of a
yeah.
booming industry for Africa, one
See,
that taps
one
into
thing-
the continent's untapped manufacturing?
See, you probably haven't thought of this, but see that they've never done airplane manufacturing there, and they're a different country than America, so we assume certain things. But what you can assume is this: their procedures and protocols are not mandated by an FAA, so they're not as strict. They're just following suit. So they have a lot more leeway and a lot more game and a lot more play to do things before the West does. So what they're doing here is they're probably going to be the first ones to have, AEU and Dubai and Saudi Arabia already have the flying taxi and flying delivery vehicles. But Africa will probably have the flying cars before America has them. And just because of the regulations, and they have to show usage and, for thousands of hours to show safety and all this other crap. And they're going to use these other countries like the AEU and Saudi as test run subjects. And now they're going to have Africa do the same. I can almost guarantee it.
Manufacturing potential. Tanzania's Skyleader 600 is more than a milestone. It's a glimpse into what the future could hold for African aviation.
They don't even
As the
have
planes
regulations.
start
They've
taking
never
off,
had an
both literally and figuratively. The entire
So they have a
continent is
leg up
watching.
because they don't have
Could this be the
regulation.
spark that launches Africa into the global aerospace market? If Tanzania's success is anything to go by,
They're
the
basically
sky is
investing in
truly the limit.
aviation right now.
So, what do you make of Tanzania's Skyleader 600 aircraft? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below.
Anyhow, enough about that. Yeah, exactly. Guinea pigs. They're technological guinea pigs. But they are, their whole country, there's like I said, 52 countries are all doing different things to build up an infrastructure for a united African front as far as for economic and business. Nigeria is building colleges where they're going to have computer science majors. They've already stated they want to have all the cyber people come from their colleges. Burkina Faso is building universities saying they want engineers and builders of Africa to come from their colleges that they're building. And there's other countries doing the same thing. Aerospace is one of them, I think. Oh, God, what was that country? I do not recall off the top of my head. One country in Africa is actually already leading the way for African countries to be an aerospace leader as well. So they're building a whole ecosystem of 52 countries that are finally starting to unite for economic gain and prosperity of their own, because they finally figured out that divided they fall, united they stand, which is a concept we need to remember too. So, that's why when I saw Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso all grouped up together, I was like, that's significant. Now I just did a report, I don't know if it's even out yet, on, I think, Ivory Coast. And you might want to watch that one too. There's a lot of things happening in West Africa that's totally kicking cool. And let's see, I've got a couple other videos here just to blow time. Oh yeah, here's one. And a very interesting one is if you watch the time of this, as far as that's as much as I can expand it. Sorry about that. But see in the center, it says 1904. Watch the years. America hasn't always been as big a reserve currency as you're led to believe throughout the history. Again, watch that number right there, the 1904. This is when it started. FF, I don't know who they are. D Mark, don't know who they are. The other, I don't know who they are. GBP, right here. Let's see. Deutschland Mark is the 15.1%. Poland sterling is, oh, where the hell is that? You don't see it anywhere. The French franc is at 20. Okay, so FF is the French franc. This is the Denmark. What's the G? Pound sterling. Okay, so there's this. Okay, Great British Pound. Okay, so in 1904, the British pound still had 58% of GDP of the world, or reserve currency, not GDP. Now you see the French franc growing. Other, that'd probably be mostly America, then it shrinks down. Now US pops out of nowhere, 26, 20s, 30s, shrinks down again to less than 30. I mean, look at that. 1945, 1950, the British pound was still much greater than the American dollar. And that was just 75 years ago. So the American dollar has not been a reserve power for long. And now look at this, 56% in 87, 88, it's down to 50%. That was just in the 80s. So if you look at the amount of reserve currency that we are at this in particular point in time, see what this thing shows. Okay, right here we're at 59%. That's still pretty damn good throughout the last 60 years, 70 years that we've been a reserve currency. So I don't think we're in as much trouble as people believe. And also I believe that, yeah, it is a good looking little plane, Jim. Tom, excuse me. Wow, I lost my train of thought. But anyhow, I got this one last video. And this one's kind of cool. It lets you know who in the world to actually listen to. Let me get full screen for you here.
Coveted for its rarity and beauty, has been a symbol of wealth and power throughout history. Today, countries around the world continue to hold significant reserves for this valuable asset. In this video, we'll explore the countries with the largest gold reserves and delve into the fascinating world of gold ownership on a national scale. Oman's total gold reserve is 20 kilograms, managed by the Central Bank of Oman.
Fiji, 30 kilograms. Burundi, Malta, Estonia, Chile, Malawi, Dominican, Mozambique, Angola, El Salvador, Suriname. That's not that much gold either. It's really. That's actually not that much gold at all. Now you get 2 tons now. You know, up till that point, hold on a second here. Gotta meet that. Okay, 4 tons. You know, there are old mines in the Northeast, 13 original colony states that were shut down in 1847, 48, because everyone was going to California, that have more than more gold in it. There's closed down mines that have more than, here, in, like I said, in the 13 colonial states, it's probably like 50 or 80 that have more gold still in them than these countries here. That's amazing. Hey, what's up, Art? Yes, it is. Need 4 numbers, sister. We're not even up to 50 tons yet. All these countries, if you guys are from some of these countries or whatnot, see how
Bangladesh's total gold reserve is 14 tons, reflecting its status as a modest holder of gold reserves.
Not sure, Nickel. Yeah, Ukraine has 27 tons. Well, probably not that.
Malaysia's total gold reserves is 39 tons, contributing to its diverse economy and financial stability.
Now that number there, Cambodia, 50 tons. For the past at least 10 years, probably 15 or 20 years, Dubai AEU has been stealing that much gold out of Burkina Faso's northern territory while funding insurgents to keep that area unstable so they can keep getting 50 tons of gold a year. And they've done it for over 10 years, which means wherever you see AEU Dubai up here, they actually have 500 unreported tons of gold in their possession. Illegally obtained, but who really cares, right? I did a video on it. See, it's there right there. They have 58 tons, or 54 tons. 10 times.
Australia's total gold reserve is 80 tons, reflecting its status as a significant gold producer and exporter.
And that's actually a good question, Nickel, because each country has its own laws on what they count as a reserve. Some countries, I'm sure, still count in ground gold as reserves for them. And some countries only count above ground, and I'm sure some countries count both. That I do not know, and I do not know how they came up with these numbers, if they included or discluded that. So I can't really say to that. Hey, what's up, William? So I can't really say to that one, Nickel. Say what these say. That's reported numbers, so you have to believe the countries that reported it. So if you don't believe any of these countries, then don't believe the numbers. You know, that's all I can say. It's the world we live in right now, guys.
South Africa, known for its rich gold mining history, holds a total gold reserve of 125 tons. The United Kingdom's total gold reserve is 310 tons, managed by the Bank of England, reflecting its economic.
And by the way, this I know for a fact, the English central bank, how we value houses in US dollar, fiat dollar, and our central bank does as well. The English or British central bank values all houses by gold. So in their, and of course the United Kingdom is a socialist country, so the country actually owns every house. You just kind of sort of rent it every year and pretend you own it. So they might consider this number of 310 tons might be the total value of housing in England that they value, and they actually have no actual gold in a vault, because the way they value their real estate is in gold. So it is counted as a gold reserve. So, you know, I don't know if that's how this guy came up with these numbers or not, but that's an interesting a thing to check out.
Strength.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, guys?
With a rich history of gold ownership, India boasts 768.9 metric tons of gold reserves, largely held by its central bank, the Reserve Bank of India.
Like I said, it's reported numbers, and we're all going to see that and say that ain't true, because we're not accepting. So you have to go back to where you got his numbers from.
The U.S. holds the largest gold reserves in the world with a massive 8,133.
But anyhow, here's something that we can talk about as far as again, if America was to count the reserves in gold the way England does, it's already been stated by the last administration that we have $62 trillion worth of assets underneath our feet. And I know for a fact that the California gold rush was stopped with 90% of the gold in 1955 or 1855. It was stopped with 90% of the gold left in the ground. And they had mined several billion of that dollar amount back then, which is tens of billions, which means there's probably hundreds of billions of dollars worth of gold still in the California gold area that could be mined to make up the difference. So if we were to count the in-ground gold as part of our gold reserve, we would have 800 or 8,000 tons. But I don't know if, again, it's all in the paperwork, basically. It's like ETF. Once you hit ETF, it's fucked. It could also be that, we did loan gold out, nickel, to lots of countries so they could start their economies off, and they are indebted to us because of that. And we supposedly received lots of money yearly. And that's something no one talks about. You guys need to research how many countries owe the US money. We only talk about our national debt, but that national debt is offset by every country that owes us money. So there's 186 countries out there in the world. If 50 of them owe us $1 trillion, we're in the good. Our debt could go up to 150 trillion and it would be okay. There's more to everything than what the, hey, what's up, Original Tent? There's more to, and Jeff, there's more to than what they're saying to the debt, because it can be wiped out. Because we could if say Ecuador owed us 500 billion, we could say we're gonna wipe your debt off, but you wipe your debt off with us, and they have a $1 trillion, or we have $1 trillion in debt to them, so it's a 2-for-1 kind of debt wipe. And you could do all kinds of little negotiations with each and every separate country that owes America money. England owes America crap loads of money. Not for World War II, but for the Falkland Island Wars. We supported them in that. So, lots of countries owe America a lot of money, but not one person talks about that. And that is part of what makes economics. Who owes you money? That's, hey, everyone who has a house, what they look at, how much do you spend? How much do you make? Everyone looking at the American debt clock. Well, that's how much we have to pay, but how much do we make? Okay, well, you look at, we only get it from taxes. No, we don't. We get money from other countries that owe us. Well, actually in the form of taxes, because they're loans that we give them that they pay us back with interest. Night, Matthew, if you're going to bed. It appears that way. By the way, I'm not prejudiced, racist, sexist, or ageist, or whatever else ist. Pinned to the top is the link for anyone who wants to show you don't even have to show your ugly mug, man. You can do like I do and show a virtual background. No one will even know what you look like. Like right now, I'm a surfing lobster in the west coast of California. Those things don't even exist, but there you are seeing it. So never believe what you see. Oh, well, at least you got a job. Get your ass to bed so you can be very well rested when you go to work. Have your wits about you. Right on. I appreciate both you guys, Jeff. Also appreciate you guys being here. Well, now, art collector, I'm looking at 2 silvers. Are you talking about the Spanish silver or the English silver? Because the English silver is laying on the ground right at the base of this chair, where the Spanish silver, aka platina, is sleeping with Chloe. As a matter of fact, I'll do a little short right now. I'll show you so that way you can pop in and see the shorts. Let's see. Maybe 30-second. That's silver. And he's got a funny tail too. Solid striped tail. And there's Platina and Chloe. Platina's the closest one on the chair. All 3 of them. Silver, Platina, and Chloe. All right, I'll have it there so you can see it in just a second. Yeah, it's uploading now, so that way you can see it. All right. Wow, you're overworked, Jeff Nelson. You need to make 5 times the amount of money on one job, then do 5 jobs, so you're making 25 times the money. Then you can retire in 2 years and your house will be paid off. We do have a full bar. We got 10 people in here. Mr. Krabs. It's a lobster. It's not a crab. That's a fun business to be in right there. Palladium, ruthenium being derived out of nuclear fusion waste. Nuclear energy comes back in the world. Those values might shing. That is very interesting. That's another reason why I question why we have so many spent nuclear reacting fuel rods and we just store them. We store them for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. We could easily recycle them and all this other stuff. So if there is palladium and this other ruthenium being derived out of our nuclear fusion waste, then we have crap loads of it as American taxpayers. We actually are paying for the storage of those spent nuclear fuel cells, which are still have like 95 to 97% of their energy in them. So that means there's a lot of it being stored in that Yucca Mountain. There you go. Man, I'm telling you, no one concentrates on 75% of the platinum or the precious metals. 75%. 6 out of 8 of the precious group metals are platinum group metals. And then you got silver and gold. It's like, hey, what's up, Zardos? I don't see why people don't concentrate on the larger product line, for which there's less of. Each of the platinum group metals, there's so much less of than silver and gold, especially gold. Most everything's less in the platinum group metals market. Gold and silver, what's up? That's actually incorrect, gold and silver. The technology is out there for us to recycle because there's like 95, 97, 98% of energy still to be used in the spent fuel cells. And if you watch my videos, you'll see France actually recycles their nuclear waste and their spent fuel cells and has perfected the technology of doing that. So we could easily do that. We just don't. What's up, Peace Man?
I was thinking, we talked about having jobs. I remember in Living Color, he says, "You only have one job, man." What's wrong with you, man? You remember that skit they used to say? They had like 20,000 jobs, each one of them.
I only want no job. I want to just be rich. Political football. Yeah, pretty much. It's all timing. When the technology becomes cheaper for us to do it, or there's another reason for it. And since we have, and this is a logical thing to think about. We now, and we didn't have this 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. We have the ability to create a carbon so strong it is a fake diamond. And in that scenario, you could take a single spent nuclear fuel cell, just one cell, surround it by a carbon, hardened carbon that won't allow any of that little radiation out, and use it as a battery that could probably power a house for 20 years. Now, I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but the technology's around for that. You need the infrastructure of the house to be able to accept that type of energy, and that would radically shift the building styles of houses and whatnot. But the technology is there for us to use diamonds as batteries, safe nuclear batteries, because a couple single cells of spent uranium coated with a hard carbon or a manufactured diamond surface surrounding it, that's, as a small amount of radiation you're talking about, that's more than enough protection to keep the radiation out. They've already done the science, the numbers on it, and they do have all the technology. So, whoever comes up with stuff in that realm will probably make some money.
And then we got all the gold we're going to get off of the moon and stuff too,
There's so much gold in this country still. There are people up in the same river of the 1849 gold rush that was stopped. If families generationally owned land that bordered that river, and I actually knew a guy, he was an apprentice of mine, and his family had some land there, and he would simply pan for gold. And it took him 9 years to get through it. What had started was a 3-year apprenticeship program. It took him 9 years to get through it, because he would always take off 6 to 9 months, because he'd go out on a weekend pan for gold. And if he found enough gold, he would stay on his parents' or his grandparents' property, his family's property, and just pan on the side of that river. And he would get more gold and more money from doing that than he would for doing iron work. So there's tons of gold still out there. Tons. It's free. Again, it's he could have been making 80,000 a year as an iron worker, and he took the year off to pan for gold because he was making more money. This was like 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
I would like to try it.
So, well, you just hit the right spot. That's all it takes. And there are some right spots. You just got to do your research. And I can tell you right now, if you want to try it, here's a little trick that no one thinks of. And no one actually knows. Okay, back in 1849, California got 3 foot of rain a year. That means when you look at the California hills and the little valleys and the gullies that are dry and have been dry for 100 years, they used to run with water, which means there's probably gold in them. But because we cut down all the redwoods, we now get like maybe 13 inches of rain, like 1/3 the amount of rain. So those same gullies and ravines on the side of those cliffs or mountains or hills don't get as much water, so people don't go there looking for gold, because we have the mindset of running water brings gold. But in reality, out here in California, if you go to the gold rush area and you go to the one valley over from the gold rush, from the Amador River, you'll probably find just as much gold, because people haven't been there collecting.
Another thing too, earthquakes. You could have an old mine, and an earthquake could cause you to find gold in the mine.
Well, even something that actually has been happening over the past 5-7 years is, and everyone knows this, all these fires we're having, they're allowing them to burn and stuff. What happens in those northeast of California is some steep valleys and mountains, so they just let it all burn, and the roots are tied into the rock. And then we get a cold winter like we had last winter with a lot of snow, and then it gets into those cracks that used to have roots, and then it freezes and it cracks the rock up, and then spring comes and it thaws and we have landslides. And we've been having lots of landslides. Each landslide delivers more gold to that river. That's why there's a consecutive flow, and actually more gold in the river past couple of years than there has been in the 10-15 years before that, because the fires come, because it's cyclical. They allow the U.S. Forest Service change their policy on forest fires, allowing them to naturally burn instead of trying to put them out like 25 years ago or something like that. So there hadn't been any real serious fires here for like 15, 20 years. And then all of a sudden we've had all these fires back to back, burning everything down. It's actually adding gold to the rivers.
And William asked, do we think it could get to 1-to-1 ratio gold and silver? I do not. I do think 7-to-1 is a potential possibility.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
Because we're using it. Silver gets used up, and kind of a lot of it still gets destroyed. Landfills, stuff like that. And And
Well, it's not at a price to where it makes it viable for people to take their time to want to recycle it. So it's not got a recyclable market at this dollar amount. And that is one way you can tell about manipulation. Because if it was a free market system, the price would be high enough because there's more than enough silver out there to be recycled if you have people willing to go out there and do it, but the price isn't right. So if there's a shortages of silver and there's a recyclable market and people aren't taking it because the price ain't right, that's a manipulated market.
Right. Nobody's going to turn in their silver jewelry at the price it is now. You're just not. You're going to have more motivation.
Well, and unless you're really desperate, you're not going to be like tearing down computers going for the silver solder and gold solder that's in them either. Because the price now for gold, you will, because gold's gone up. And I could see people, going to scrap yards and junk yards and picking up all the old TVs and stuff like that and getting the gold solder out of them.
Yeah, it's definitely, the ratio is closer than what the market says that it is. There's no doubt.
I think I'll be able to tell you better after we figure out what kind of economic system we're going to have to replace the fiat dollar system. Then I'll be able to tell you better, because if it's a more honest system, you'll have a more honest ratio. Right now, under this system, it's a manipulated system. It's a manipulated ratio. Gold to silver.
All the metals are, because let's face the music. They're lowering interest rates.
In my opinion,
interest rates, and the metals have gone down now since that.
In my opinion, I have given video evidence of where I see the manipulation in the platinum price and when it started, and I've given explanation to what I feel and I believe is the reason for that manipulation to keep the price of platinum down. But that's just through my research and my opinion. And I'm not an expert researcher, not an expert in platinum, but I do seem to know a lot more than a lot of the people in platinum, because they don't seem to know as much as me for some reason. They call themselves experts. So I don't know what makes you an expert in platinum, but everything I know about it says we started this manipulation when they joined BRICS and the One Belt Road Initiative with China. And it just so happens economics is lining up right now where China needs to buy half of the mine supply of platinum this year. So they could have either bought it at the traditional price of, platinum probably be at 5,000 an ounce right now, twice gold's price, or they could manipulate the price for future purchase and get it for 20% of its price.
I really think if Trump does get in, that platinum will go up.
Well, I also did a couple videos, and I should have brought that one up. It was at the beginning of this year, Clean Air Energies, and they were stating, what they're saying is, we don't plan to go to stage B on the platinum vein that we have, largest platinum vein on the planet. We're not going to mine it until the price of platinum goes up. And then just about a month or 6 weeks ago, maybe a little less, I don't know, I did this video about them coming out saying they're going to stage 2 and they're getting ready to start mining. So if you just put those two videos together of what they said for their company, they said they weren't going to go stage 2 unless platinum prices started returning to normal. Now they've said they're going to start stage 2, but yet platinum prices have not yet returned to normal. So it could be, in my opinion, is an indicator of what, buy platinum now, guys, because it's going to go back to its normal price of twice what platinum is within probably a year. Because maybe not. They can use now they can use an excuse because they only have to go down 400 yards to hit the platinum vein in Canada, and they have to go down 2,200 yards to get the platinum from out of South Africa. So the expense of mining is like 20%, 12%, because they don't have to go that deep to get it. So the price might only jump up to like maybe 2,000, and it'd be more than enough profitable for now. But as they mine deeper, they'll need guarantees of the price to continue to get back to the traditional normal, which is twice gold's price. But still, there's going to be a significant bump either way in the price of platinum within the next 6 to 8 months, according to my non-financial advice, but personal research and time, energy, and effort doing that research. And it's not advice; it's just what I found. Yeah, I know, Tom Lush, and it takes a lot of money to ship down all those extension cords and if you bring generators down, then you got to fucking exhaust pipe them out, and you got to rip fresh air down there. It's highly expensive. That's why I say buy platinum now, because in reality, it costs about $1,100 to get an ounce of ore, platinum ore, out of the African mines, and you can buy it for less than $1,000 in its coin form, or in a bar form. So, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying, hey, put some common sense to this. You can buy it cheaper than it's mined. Wow, hey, would that be a good time to buy something? Hell, I don't know. I think it is. I think it's better than gold, because you can get gold out of the ground for like $900 and it's selling for $2,600. So there's a big they're making profit. The platinum people are losing money. So I would, in my non-financial mind, would think I would rather buy the product that they're selling at a loss to me. That's also actually going to be highly needed in future technologies that are just around the corner. I would rather buy that asset class than the asset class that's already overvalued to the mining cost, using the mining cost as a value of the actual metal, because there is no true evaluation because of manipulation. So I come up with my own evaluation, and that is cost of mining, and then use case. And you match those up, and you use the same criteria, gold, silver, platinum, for all of them. And then you logically put up together, and then you look at amounts, and you do the numbers, and you come up with that's how the professionals are supposed to do it. And if you do it and you come up with numbers and it's not those numbers, well, it's probably because it's a manipulated market. That does not last. And showing the video from Clean Air Metals stating they're going to phase 2 tells me that they have insider tips that they were told that the price of platinum would be going up, and they would make money if they open that mine. And now if you look at geopolitical, what's happening, that would cause them to act this early. Maybe the American elections, and oh my God, I already know for a fact, I've seen videos of Trump at mining conventions where those guys are just groveling because they know he loves mining. So maybe there's an administration change coming up, and Clean Air Metals was told, start your mine now because we're going to be pumping it out, because we got an administration coming that's pro-mining. Even though they're in Canada, we kind of tell Canada what to do anyhow, because no offense to any Canadians, but your government's kind of spineless.
Well, they're conserving it.
They're spineless. But that's they voted for it, so that's their one. Oh, hey, Gerald, sorry about that.
But Mexico, they're what, 60% mined out now, silver?
Yeah, again, I go back to more videos when I talk about BRICS. If you look at all the countries joining BRICS, yeah, sure, they hate the dollar. That's a good line to feed people. But if you look at it, they're about resource tapped. They're on the downhill side of being resource tapped. Saudi Arabia, yeah, they're on the downside of their oil, man. They don't have enough to produce for the world. They have enough to produce for themselves. So they're lowering their amount of production, and they will continue to do that. Now you look at Nigeria. Nigeria's just built, and I did a video on this too. They just built the world's largest refinery where they can refine 10 times as much oil as Saudi Arabian OPEC countries can do. So there's going to be a dynamic shift in oil in this world, from the Middle East to Africa and America, because like the next administration already stated, we got more of the best oil in the world underneath our feet. We just need to get it out of the ground. And so that's another reason why I say there's a V-shaped recovery coming, just like the 1920s after the silent depression, where the government basically did nothing, so the depression ended quickly. And quite frankly, through this quote unquote, let's change the definition for 6 months, but then we'll call it a recession, and we'll do it another year, and then we'll lower interest rates a little bit. And so basically they've done nothing, and it's been over 1.5 to 2 years. If you look at history, well, the silent depression lasted for 18 months, and then the recovery started about a year afterward. So if we repeat history, we've got about 4 to 6 months before we start booming. And if you listen to everything that's going on with this political thing, well, it seems like that's going to be spot on. And not that I've got a crystal ball that works. I just look at things and put common sense to it and say, hey, there's a V-shaped recovery coming. Get ready for the roaring 20s, because they're just around the corner. But that's just my independent research from a dumbass point of view. What do you think, Nickel?
I think as soon as silver gets to the right price, we'll be mining silver here as a primary.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that no one wants to talk about. Everyone says we have a limited supply of silver. Well, they talk about that, and they're not lying. At 30, 35, $25 an ounce, yes, we only have a certain amount. At $100 an ounce, we can triple that amount, because then you've got more money to mine deeper. And it makes it feasible for you to go that deep to get there. So it'll cost you $75 to get the ounce, but you sell it for 100, 125. Yeah, more mines will open up, but will it be profitable? No, because they'll be deeper and they'll have to spend more money to get it, but we'll still get more of that resource at a higher price than we have now. That's just logic, business logic. You know, why would they drill and mine a half mile down when it cost them $40 an ounce just to sell it to you guys for 30? That's stupid.
Peace, man. Yeah. That's me, the Nickel. We was talking about jobs, and that they had that skit on in Living Color, and the guy said, "You only have 2 jobs, man. What's wrong with you, man?" And it was hilarious. They had to have like 100 every time. One had more jobs than the other guy did. They would talk about how many jobs they had.
Sorry, I'm making some tea. I missed the last part of that.
I didn't get to see the West Virginia video of Tiger.
Yeah, I heard they said something, whatever, something, whatever, but that's all I know. And well, that's not much.
Well, I had to go to the grocery store, so I didn't make it. So, but they something about not counting the vote.
Oh yeah.
I didn't understand all that. I mean,
basically, what they're doing is they're pushing the federal agencies that are not being forthright with information to come out with all the information they have, so that we can find out who is at fault. And if it's found out that the other political party had anything to do with it in West Virginia, from my understanding, they will not allow that political party on the ballot. So any political party basically that tries to kill the other political party members, if they're found out about it, they will not be able to get one vote out of the state of Virginia or West Virginia, whatever. That's my, and I just heard it one time, and my recall's not 100%, but that's the gist of what I got. I'm sure there's more legal terminology to it than that, but in layman's terms, that's the way I understood it. But what I want to talk about is we had freaking rain here last night. That totally screwed me up. I had to cut down the top fucking 3-4 foot of my plants so I could put a tarp on the other half of them to keep them dry, so I wouldn't get mold on them. So now I got about fucking 1.5 pounds of weed hanging upside down in the next room, and I got about 3 more pounds to harvest out. It's still growing. And I wasn't planning on trimming this early.
Yeah, Gerald said solar too funny, like one hellstone. Yeah, but guess what? They got to replace them. Means you need more silver. So
or technology might come to a place where platinum or copper will work in the place of silver. I've heard, and I did not see any fact checking on this. It's pros or cons, but a report was put out that this one company achieved 26.1% efficiency on a solar panel using copper over silver. And the best silver ever got on an efficiency rating for solar was like 25.2 or 1% efficiency. So if that report is true, and that is a big if, because I haven't heard anything since then, typically you hear pro and con reports of people tearing it apart or validating it. And I haven't heard either, so I don't know if it's true or not true. But I did hear that report or read that report. So it is seemingly possible, if that report is true, they found a way to use copper in a manner that makes it more efficient than silver in solar panels. And that could also negatively affect the price of silver. But if it's a fact, it's a fact. If it's not, it's not. You know, I don't know. I just I read
But
that
you
one
got,
report.
you still got to have silver for medical equipment.
Oh yeah, no, silver's still needed, and there's most likely going to be another use case due to technology that'll use silver over anything else, and that might be part of what stimulates the price of silver to go up, because that new technology will use more silver. I mean, who knows what the future is going to bring, but there is going to be a technological revolution, not in computers, coming around the corner.
Well, if people live longer, which I don't know, I don't think the powers that may want us to live very long, but if they do, then that means you're going to need more medical equipment, and that means you're going to need more silver. So,
Well, there's several ways to look at that. Several ways to look at that. I was watching a science documentary on this gentleman who's working on what is that? Chromosome. Chromosomes shorten as you get older, and that's part of the reason why you have health problems. And he was successful at, and
you're breaking up.
funny is that this guy ruined the child's song Three Blind Mice, because he was able to regenerate the chromosome of a mouse that was blind, making it able to see by lengthening that chromosome and doing its body to naturally heal its blindness, making it able to see. And the next step is doing human testing. And the next step from that is we all have that technology. So we're probably within 10, 15 years. Insurance, unless, Congress or someone steps in and says, no, you can't do it because the insurance companies won't make as much money and the health industry will lose too much money. And, if they continue down that line, then we'll continue to be harmed by our society rather than helped by it. But if we actually can grab control of our society and get these technologies out, and a lot of the crap that they've given us. In my opinion, this is not medical fact. This is my speculation and opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor Rocky got a strike because someone came on and how he was going to treat it. And man, they nailed him for that. I'm going, he said, well, wait a minute, I didn't say it. It was somebody was on here with me that said it. And all he was saying is how he was going to be treated. He didn't say everybody should do it. He got a strike.
Yeah, it's like I'm not an expert. I'm a high school.
Lost you again.
I'm back. Never used my mind. Not saying I have a weak mind by any stretch of the imagination, but I just never used it. I've just always gathered, and I spent the past 40 years doing nothing but working, gathering information. And now there's this in my information. That's all. That's what happens. Now I have a platform, semi-platform, and it'll get better too. It'll get a lot better. Hopefully my channel won't be shadowed. Barely being allowed to tell without getting a strike, but just barely, because I get a lot of these warning tags on my videos.
I think once you get a strike, they never forget, and they always kind of ban you. They always shadow ban you.
Like I said, I ran for a year and a half with 2 strikes, bro. I know I'm being shadow banned. I didn't do any kitty cat video shorts for a week. I just did a couple of my news and my lives. I didn't get any more than 30 views.
I don't get nothing.
And I'm on my 3rd year telling shit, and moderating for the Ninja. Matter of fact, Economic Ninja, he put one of my things on his community page, one of my reports on his community page, and he highlighted it in one of his lives. And you know how many views that one got? 157. That just don't seem right, does it? No, I know.
Not if you got like 3,000 subs. I mean, so they're not seeing it. On my community page, I put stuff on there. I have different accounts, so I can go look. And some of my accounts, it goes on, and some of them it doesn't. So that means when we post certain things, I believe some people never see it, and I believe some people do. And that cuts down on how many potential viewers you're going to have. And I believe they do the same thing with the videos, but I know for sure they do it on community.
100% agree. No argument whatsoever. And I don't really income in, because actually I think that invalidates my information. Oh, he's making views. I'm still not making money. I'm still telling you the truth. And I'm still shadow banned for it. So I'm doing something right. I'm doing actually two things right, because I'm not getting paid by the man for doing it right, because they don't like me doing it right, but I'm still allowed to be able to get this song out there. Gerald, I was born on the radar, brother. I would never not been on the radar. Maybe after I die, I'll be blessed and get off the radar over my shoulder. But that shit happens. Like I said, my brother was a Green Beret for 22 years. I don't think for him to keep his top security clearances, the FBI didn't check me every 2 fucking years. They did at least 11 background checks on me in 22 years. Not even considering the shit I did in the military or what my dad did in the military and subsequently in civil service after the military. I mean, I probably got a record, and all of it's good. When I say this, don't take it in a malicious way. I've got federal records probably about fucking a half-inch thick, and there's not one thing they can find on our student debt back in 1993. And that's the worst thing. So.
Now NASA can make clouds. I've seen it. They have some machine of a thing they do, and it really does. I don't know how they do it, but they can actually make clouds. And a guy did a report on it, and not only did they make them, rain not too long after that, because he got rained on. It's on YouTube. I don't know what the channel was, but so they can make clouds.
Dude, there's a lot of things that can happen. Yeah. If you see one again, watch my videos, or else you'd be telling me, "Oh yeah, Neil, I saw your video of where there's now lakes here." The global weather patterns, would that stop the amount of fine dust blown through the Sahara from her?
Yeah, he's having trouble with his. He's having trouble. It's cutting in and out.
I am sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, censorship. There's a couple of things about Antarctica I know about too. Some research studies that are going up there, scientific studies that no one's seen. No one's still got low signal, huh?
I think something's just interfering with it. Like there's nothing solar happening. Nothing solar happen today, did it?
It could be another. Yeah, it's probably other signals. Oh well. Might even just cut this short if it keeps up. Put out too much truth. People don't like it. Speaking of cities under the ice cap, am I still breaking up?
No, you're all right now.
Okay, well, in either Norway or Sweden, an iceberg receded due to quote unquote global warming. And here's the funny part. Listen up. 1, 2, 3. Wait for it. It uncovered a farmhouse. So apparently it was warm enough there in the 11th century for them to have a farmhouse, and then the the glacier moved on top of the farmhouse and then has since receded back. So how could that be global warming that we had anything to do with if it was there before we got there? We weren't using. So I still say, and this will probably get me another warning from YouTube, but yeah, it's called a living planet, not global warming.
Do you believe Atlantis existed?
I believe history that we learned because we were victories in the West. And I don't believe that if you just study glimpse of global history, and if you just study global history, unless you study the different religious global histories, and then you could have a better understanding of the question you just asked me. How's that? And yeah, I've done other studies, so I have an opinion, but I say study Buddhism history and Hinduism history. But then go over there and see some of the sites that they have and ages of them and read some of the older texts. And then say it's bullshit.
Here comes the tea.
Hell yeah, baby.
You got to put honey in it.
Honey is actually bad in tea because the heat of the tea takes away the medicinal usage of the honey. Except if you're trying to get off of sugar and you replace sugar with honey, because you're getting rid of sugar and replacing it with honey, which is a better natural sweetener source than sugar. But if you want the health benefits,
Honey on vanilla ice cream is pretty good. I've done that.
and I've had to, in certain cases, I've had to do peanut butter honey sandwiches because there was no jelly, but there was honey. So we went ahead and used honey because it was there.
Honey on waffles, pancakes.
Yeah, actually, Jeff Nelson, Maine was carved out because of glaciers. That's why it has its erratic coastline and so many lakes and rivers. Glaciation, one of those two words. When I get bored, I watch a show called How the States Got Their Shapes, and it gives all kinds of historically accurate too, which is kind of cool. I got creation of Nevada because Arizona supported the South in the Civil War. Their land to Nevada, who was neutral. There's all kinds of reasons why the states got their shapes, and there's cool legal and other stories. There's cool shit everywhere. You just can't get too wrapped up in it and not live life that's actually around us right now. Maple syrup from the trees in your backyard on waffles is the best kind of maple syrup. That's why we need JM in here so we can give him some money to plant some maple trees so we can have some plug into the tree and drain the maple.
And it's good. It's good if you ever have to cut one down to take that and put that on the grill and cook your.
Dude, have you ever cut? It's like a fish. Bleed it first. Sorry, Jeff. I guess I'll cut this live stream short. most probably.
Am I been cutting out?
No, you haven't. I haven't. It has, to me, you have not cut out. But I am seeing.
I've had days here where I couldn't. It was hard. It was like something was interfering or something, and I couldn't. It was just you get the little circle thing, and I have those days here.
I'm getting this Wi-Fi indicator saying my signal's interrupted.
Yeah, fruit trees are great. If you got to cut them down, if you have damage or whatever, yeah, keep some of that, and when you grill out, use that as seasoning. It really does make the food taste better, I think, but especially fruit trees.
Pop in a few fucking cherries on your property. Cherry wood as a smoking, add flavor to your smoking. Yeah, there's some real good smoking wood out there. You can just grow and trim your tree back and you have enough to do smoking. Yeah, I'm gonna end this. I still show it in and out, and I don't think that's a advantageous live stream for my show. Everybody for showing up this evening.
Well, what I usually do on Sundays, I listen to Sal, then I go to Rockies, and then I usually come here. And that's pretty much my pattern's been for the last year. So that's pretty much, I'm a man of habit, so I pretty much will probably continue to do that. And
well, I appreciate.
So if anybody starts a show at the same time, I'm not going. And I bet they probably think that SOB, he hates me or something, or he got mad at me or something. I go, no, I just do what I've always done.
You're on right now. Tully and my silver journey came on about a half hour ago, live.
No, I do what I always do. I don't hold grudges against anybody really. And
yeah, it's no big deal. It is what it is.
So, I don't ban many people. There's been some, I won't mention names, that said, oh, I did not ban them. The only ones that are banned it's probably marketing crap that they come on and just trying to sell Bitcoin or something, which that ticks me off. And
oh shit, got it back.
79, just because she was timing out people in my lives, and I didn't want that. So it wasn't really me that I have against her. It was she was timing out other people when they were in there and thinking it was funny, and I just didn't let it happen. So that's about it. There's a few I banned on, like when you go into a chat and it's more political people. It's just because they're just being completely outrageous, and then I'll maybe ban those. I'll never see them anyway. I mean, they've never been to my chats or nothing. So, but other than that, that's it. I don't. But I get accused all the time. He banned me. That guy banned me. He banned me. I don't. I just don't do that.
Neither.
So, and like Kenji, I love the guy. I tease him. He thinks I hate him, I think, but I don't. I just tease with him. But he makes the lives better. I like it. I don't know why Sal don't want him in. I go, it makes it more interesting to have someone come in and say the other opposite of stuff. Sal, I don't think Sal can stand him. I'm going, I just don't understand that. I don't understand why that he feels that way about him. I mean, I really don't. Of course, I've talked to him one-on-one in private. And I know a lot of people in the community don't like him, but he does make some good points. Anyway, you at least think about what he's saying, and so I actually do like it though.
All right. Well, I'm gonna. I might throw a live in the middle of the week, and we'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for showing up here, Nickel.
Yeah. Well, it's a habit. I'm sorry. So, and even if you don't see me, sometimes I just don't feel like writing or talking, I'm probably watching. So, and it'll probably be that way because I don't know if I'm going to be on her as much. So I'll probably be watching. I just may not be commenting or doing much live stuff and all that other stuff. I mean, I plan to at least to the rest of this year, but I don't know next year what'll happen. But
All right. Well, you guys have a good night.
Gerald, send me a lot of gemstones.
And I will talk to you all.
Selling, sending and selling is two different things. We may have to make a little deal or something. You never know. I got a lot of them. I've got a ton of them. Can sell cheap. Most of them.
If anyone wants to be backstage, the link is in the live stream because I really do have bad service.
So anyway, I'll say goodbye to everybody. And I don't know. I think I'm going to go live tonight. I got some things I think I want to talk about, so I'm going to go live again tonight. Maybe not. Probably. So.
All right.
Hey, everybody. I mean,